What's up, Blue Jay fans? It's Rob Scott of the Jay Talking Podcast, back with another game day recap. The Blue Jays finishing off their 3-game set in Comerica Park. They lost the first two. They're trying to avoid the sweep. 31-29 Jays are 4.5 behind the AL East leading Baltimore Orioles and 4 back of the Red Sox. Detroit tied with the Royals, 2.5 back in the Central of the Cleveland Indians. Pitching matchups today, R.A. Dickey on the hill. The very inconsistent R.A. Dickey. Well, at least from start to start, he's inconsistent. At the end of the season, his numbers seem to actually be decent, at least for a number 4, borderline 4 or 5 starter. You know, he solidifies that end of the rotation. And since May, he's actually had a 2.81 ERA. He's going against Jordan Zimmerman, who's 8-2 with a 2.58 ERA and 66 1/3 innings. So let's get right to it. Top of the first, the Jays get on the board quickly. Josh Donaldson with a 1-out single. Then he's followed by Justin Smoke with a 2-run blast. Justin makes it 2-0. The bottom of the first, though, Detroit responds right away, and this looks like old Dickey, new Dickey, same Dickey, big Dickey, little Dickey. Mike Alavius with a single, followed by Nick Castellanos with a home run. He tied it at 2-2. No more scoring to the top of the third. When the Blue Jays bats break out, Josh Tolley, the personal catcher for R.A. Dickey. Not much of a bat, but he walks in this at bat. Jose Bautista doubles, and Josh Donaldson destroys a ball for a 3-run shot. That's 5-2 now. The Jays up, top of the third. The Jays strike again in the top of the fifth. This looks like their day. Josh Donaldson with a triple. E.E. walked and scored on a Pilar triple. Drove in both. That makes it 7-2. And that would be the only scoring for the rest of the game. Jays win 7-2. Josh Donaldson, a double short of the cycle. On the offensive side, the Jays had 9 hits, 7 runs, 2 home runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. They left 8 men on base. Jose Bautista was 2 for 5 with a run scored. Josh Donaldson 3 for 4, 3 runs scored, 3 ribbies, a home run. He had a great game. Justin Smoke with the home run. He's 2 for 4, a home run, 2 ribbies. He's got an interesting inverse to his numbers this year from last year. Last year he had a low average, low on base percentage, and a high slugging, 474. This year is just the opposite. He's got a better batting average, around 275. Less run production, about an RBI and a run scored per 10 at-bats. But a higher on-base percentage, 364 to 299 last year, and the slugging is down to 404. So interesting. I mean, he's having a good season, but it's interesting he's had such a contrast in the numbers. Kevin Pilar had another good game. He was 2 for 3 with 2 ribbies and a walk. That makes 2 games in a row. He was 2 for 3. Detroit. Well, they tried to make it. They tried to make it a game. A couple innings, they had some guys on. They couldn't get around. They ended up scoring just 2 runs. Nick Castellanos, as I said, 2 for 3, a home run, 2 ribbies, and a walk for him. J.D. Martinez was 2 for 3. Mike Avilés, 2 for 4 with a ribby, and Jose Iglesias, not the singer, 1 for 3 with a walk. On the pitching side, R.A. Dickey was R.A. Dickey. He went 5 1/3, gave up 9 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, struck out a batter, and now has a 4.15 ERA on the season, which is right where R.A. Dickey is consistently. 375 to 415 range year after year. He is still sub 500 for the Jays in his 4-year career, which, again, I think is indicative of his inconsistency and probably what he deserves. I mean, you'll hear guys like Mike Wilner talk about he's been a bit unlucky, but I don't see that at all. I think he's exactly what he is, a 500 pitcher. You know, he's so demonized because of what we gave up for him, but, he's a good back end of the rotation guy. You got to throw that trade away. It's done. It's over. Those guys will never be coming back. We'll never get a redo on that trade, and we got a solid number 5 at the back of the rotation. Jesse Chavez pitched an inning, 2/3. He walked 1, struck out 3. Drew Storen He was a little bit shaky. He did have an inning and just one walk, but he put a couple men on base. Aaron Loop, 2/3 of an inning. Gavin Floyd with a third and a K. Jordan Zimmerman, 4 2/3. He got hit around. 8 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. Gave up 2 home runs. His ERA rose to 3.30. Anibal Sanchez tossed 2 1/3 innings. Had a hit and a K. Mark Lowe, the ex-Blue Jay, tossed an inning, gave up a walk, and Blaine Hardy with an inning and a K. So the Jays go to 32 and 29. Detroit falls to 30 and 29. Detroit takes 2 out of 3. The Jays did not extend their series winning streak to 6. They could have done that last night. But hey, that's the way the ball rolls. Baltimore in tomorrow into Toronto for a 4-game set. That is an important matchup. If Baltimore loses tonight, they'll be 3.5. Jays will be 3.5 back, and a chance to actually take over first if they could sweep it. Not likely they will, but hey, I like to dream. Baltimore sending to the hill Tyler Wilson, who's 2-5 with a 4.39 ERA, against Marcus Stroman, 5-2 with a 4.82 ERA. We all know the struggles he's had recently. They've been bad. But the Jays had one other 3-game set against Baltimore this year. They won just one game, and that one win did come from Marcus Stroman, so hopefully he can pull out another W. He pitched 7 innings against Baltimore that game, gave up 3 runs, and only put 7 men on base, 6 hits, and a walk. Baltimore has the 10th ranked offense, the 13th ranked pitching staff, so they're consistent all around. They're going to be a tough matchup. You know, at this point, you stop hoping for the split. You want to show who you are. You want to show that when you play quality teams that you can beat them. So 3-1 is what we should be aiming for, not a 2-2 split here. But anyway, let's see what happens. Listen, if you like these podcasts, subscribe to this page or go to bluejaytalking.com. You can follow us there. That's a WordPress site. Follow us on Twitter. I'm going to keep doing it whether you like it or not, because my wife doesn't like me and I got nothing else to do. Anyway, thanks for joining. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.